You know that feeling when you're staring at your to-do list, and it's not just long, it's laughing at you? Like it's got this smug little energy whispering, "Good luck, champ. You've got this. Maybe next year." And you sit there, coffee going cold, motivation evaporating faster than steam off a kettle, wondering why nothing ever seems to stick, why every new start fizzles out by Wednesday, why the people who actually get stuff done seem to be running on some secret fuel you weren't issued at birth. Here's the truth they don't put on motivational posters. It's not about willpower, it's not about hustle, it's not even about talent. It's about something so quiet, so unsexy, so painfully ordinary that most people ignore it until they're standing in the middle of their own unfinished dreams, wondering where it all went wrong. Consistency. Not the flashy kind, not the Instagram story kind, the kind that shows up when no one's watching, the kind that doesn't wait for inspiration, the kind that doesn't need a viral moment to validate it. That's the engine. That's the magic. And if you think that sounds boring, you're right, it is. Until it isn't. Until you realize that boring is the only thing that survives the chaos, that outlasts the burnout, that turns "I wish" into "I did." Let me tell you about Maya. She didn't set out to build a business. She didn't even know what she was building at first. All she knew was that every morning, before her kids woke up, she'd sit at her kitchen table with a notebook and write 200 words. Just 200. Some days they were garbage. Some days she cried while writing them. Some days she wrote the same sentence 3 times because her brain was still half asleep. But she showed up. Rain, snot, deadlines, tantrums, migraines, didn't matter. 200 words. That was the deal she made with herself. Not, "I'll write a book," not, "I'll go viral," not, "I'll get an agent." Just 200 words. And here's the kicker. For the first 6 months, nothing happened. 0 external validation. No one noticed. No one cared. She almost quit a dozen times, but she didn't. And then, slowly, quietly, those 200 words started compounding. A paragraph became a page became a chapter became a manuscript became a self-published ebook, an ebook became a small but loyal readership, a readership became paid coaching clients, and now she runs a 6-figure business teaching other overwhelmed moms how to write without losing their minds. All from 200 words. Not because she's a genius, not because she had connections, because she refused to let a single day go by without honoring that tiny, ridiculous, almost laughable commitment. That's the power of consistency. It doesn't ask for your best, it asks for your presence. Most people think big results come from big actions, giant leaps, heroic efforts, midnight oil, sweat-drenched breakthroughs. And sure, those moments exist, but they're the exception, not the rule. The real transformation? It's hiding in the mundane. In the 5 minutes you spend organizing your inbox instead of scrolling. In the 10 push-ups you do after brushing your teeth. In the 1 tough conversation you have instead of avoiding it for the 5th time. These aren't glamorous. They won't make a highlight reel. But stack enough of them, layer them like sediment over time, and you wake up one day standing on top of a mountain you didn't even realize you were climbing. You didn't scale it in a single bound. You didn't even see the summit until you were already there. You just kept putting one foot in front of the other, even when it felt pointless, even when you were bored, even when you wanted to quit, especially when you wanted to quit. Here's what no one tells you. Consistency isn't about discipline, it's about design. It's about setting up your environment, your routines, your tiny non-negotiables so that showing up becomes easier than not showing up. Think about it. Why is it so easy to doom scroll for an hour, but so hard to read 10 pages of a book? Because your phone is designed to hijack your attention. Bright colors, endless novelty, instant dopamine hits. Your book? It just sits there, quiet, patient, demanding nothing. So you have to design your consistency the same way. Make it stupid easy. Make it frictionless. Put your running shoes by the bed so you see them first thing. Pre-write your to-do list the night before so decision fatigue doesn't murder your morning. Block 15 minutes on your calendar for deep work and treat it like a doctor's appointment you can't cancel. These aren't hacks. They're architecture. You're not relying on motivation. You're building guardrails so you don't have to. And let's talk about motivation for a second, because it's a liar. It tells you, wait until you feel like it. Wait until you're inspired. Wait until the stars align and your playlist is perfect and your coffee is at exactly 167 degrees. But here's the brutal truth. You will never feel like doing the hard thing. Not consistently, not long-term. Motivation is a spark. Consistency is the log you keep feeding the fire. You don't wait for the spark to return. You strike the match yourself every single day, even when your hands are shaking, even when you're tired, even when you're convinced it's pointless. Because the act of showing up, that's what reignites the spark, not the other way around. You don't find motivation and then become consistent. You become consistent and then motivation follows you like a confused puppy wondering why you're still walking when it's clearly nap time. I know what you're thinking, but what if I miss a day? What if I fall off? What if I screw up? Good, you will. You're human. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is resilience. The ability to miss a day and not let it become a week. To stumble and not let it become a collapse. Consistency isn't a straight line. It's a wobbly, messy, zigzagging path with potholes and detours and the occasional faceplant. And that's okay. That's normal. That's human. The people who have it all together, they don't. They just got really good at getting back up, at forgiving themselves, at treating failure not as a verdict but as data. Okay, I skipped 3 days. What made that happen? How can I adjust? Not, I'm a failure. I'll never get this. One is a scientist. The other is a prosecutor. Which voice are you letting run the show? Let me give you another example. Alex wanted to learn guitar. Not to be a rock star, just to play a few songs for his kid at bedtime. He bought the nicest guitar he could afford, watched 3 hours of YouTube tutorials in one sitting, practiced for 2 days straight, and then stopped. Life got busy. The guitar gathered dust in the corner. 6 months later, he felt guilty every time he walked past it. Sound familiar? Here's what he did differently the second time. He committed to 5 minutes a day. Not an hour. Not until he got good. 5 minutes. He set a timer, sat on the couch after dinner, played one chord, switched to another, messed up, laughed, stopped when the timer went off. Some days those 5 minutes turned into 10. Some days he barely touched the strings, but he showed up. And within 3 weeks, he could play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star without crying. Within 2 months, his kid was clapping along. Within 6 months, he was playing full songs. Not because he practiced harder, because he practiced dumber, smaller, more frequently. He removed the pressure, made it sustainable, made it something he could actually stick to. And that's the secret sauce. Sustainability, not intensity. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. and meditate on a mountain. You don't need to journal for an hour or meal prep like a Navy SEAL. You need one thing. One tiny, non-negotiable, laughably small thing that you will do every single day, no matter what. And then you need to protect it like it's the last slice of pizza at a family reunion. Guard it, cherish it, let it be your anchor. Because that one thing, it's not just about the thing. It's about proving to yourself day after day that you are someone who shows up, that you are reliable, that you can be trusted with your own dreams, and that changes everything. Suddenly, you're not the person who tries to get in shape. You're the person who moves their body every day. You're not the person who wants to write a book. You're the person who writes 200 words before breakfast. Identity follows action, not the other way around. You don't become consistent by deciding to be consistent. You become consistent by doing consistent things over and over and over. And here's the beautiful, terrifying, liberating part. No one is coming to save you. No magical mentor, no perfect app, no life hack that will suddenly make it all click. It's just you and your next small choice, and the one after that, and the one after that. That's it. That's the whole game. And it's not fair, and it's not easy. And some days it will feel like you're dragging a boulder uphill in flip-flops. But you keep going. Not because you're special, not because you're gifted, but because you decided that this tiny, stubborn, relentless showing up is who you are now. And that's where the magic lives. Not in the grand gesture, not in the overnight success, in the quiet, daily refusal to quit on yourself. That's where big results are born, one ridiculously small win at a time. Do you ever notice how the most powerful things in life are usually the ones you can't see? Gravity doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It just holds the entire universe together while you're busy complaining about your Wi-Fi. Oxygen doesn't hand out trophies for keeping you alive every second. It just does its job, invisibly, relentlessly. And consistency? Same thing. It doesn't bang drums or drop confetti when you show up for the 7th day in a row. It doesn't give you a medal for choosing the salad over the fries again. It doesn't care if you're celebrated or ignored. It just keeps stacking, brick by silent brick, until one day you turn around and realize you're standing inside a cathedral you didn't even know you were building. That's the sneaky genius of it. It works while you're distracted, while you're doubting, while you're waiting for something bigger to happen. And by the time you notice, it's already changed everything. Let's talk about friction. Not the kind that makes your jeans uncomfortable, the kind that kills momentum before it even gets started. Most people fail not because they lack ambition, but because they've designed their lives to make consistency nearly impossible. They set goals that require perfect conditions, perfect time, perfect energy, perfect mood, and then wonder why they never stick. You wouldn't try to start a campfire in a hurricane and then blame yourself for being bad at fire making. So why do we do that with our habits? Why do we set up our days like obstacle courses and then get mad when we trip? The answer isn't to try harder, it's to remove the obstacles. Make the right thing the easy thing. Put your water bottle on your pillow so you hydrate before you even get out of bed. Leave your journal open on your desk with a pen on top so there's zero setup. Schedule your workout clothes the night before and sleep in them if you have to. I'm not joking. Do what it takes to eliminate the tiny resistances that add up to massive derailments. Because consistency doesn't thrive in complexity. It thrives in simplicity, in automation, in I don't even have to think about it. And here's something else no one warns you about. The boredom. Oh, the boredom. After the first week of your new habit, the novelty wears off, the dopamine dries up, the Instagram likes stop coming, and suddenly it's just you and the thing. No applause, no fireworks, just the quiet, unglamorous repetition of showing up. This is where most people quit. Not because it's hard, because it's boring, because it doesn't feel like it's working. But here's the truth. Boredom is the price of admission for mastery. It's the gatekeeper, the filter, the universe's way of asking, are you serious or are you just here for the highlight reel? If you can sit with the boredom, if you can show up even when it feels meaningless, you pass the test. You prove you're not chasing a feeling. You're building a life. And that's when things start to shift. Not dramatically, not overnight, but undeniably, like a glacier carving a valley, slow, silent, unstoppable. Think about your phone for a second, not the apps, not the notifications, the battery. You don't wait until it's at 1% to charge it, right? You plug it in at 30%, 40%, 50% because you know that letting it drain completely screws up the battery long term. Your energy, your focus, your motivation, they're the same. You can't wait until you're burnt out, depleted, running on fumes to recharge. By then, it's too late. You're in recovery mode, not growth mode. Consistency is how you keep your battery topped off. Tiny deposits, daily rituals, 5 minutes of stretching, 10 minutes of silence, one healthy meal, one honest conversation. These aren't grand gestures. They're maintenance. They're stewardship. They're how you stay in the game long enough for the magic to happen. Because magic doesn't strike the exhausted. It strikes the prepared, the consistent, the ones who didn't let themselves run dry. Let me tell you about Sam. Sam wanted to get in shape. Not for a wedding, not for summer, just to feel strong, to stop getting winded walking up the stairs. He joined a gym, bought the gear, hired a trainer, went hard for 3 weeks, lifting heavy, sweating buckets, posting progress pics. And then, life. Work trip, sick kid, broken ankle. Okay, maybe not the ankle, but you get it. He missed a week, then 2. Then guilt set in. I've ruined everything. I'm back to square one. Why bother? Sound familiar? Here's what he did differently. He scrapped the gym, bought a single dumbbell, committed to 2 exercises, squats and overhead presses for 5 minutes a day. In his living room, in his pajamas. No music, no mirror, no audience. Just him and the dumbbell. Some days he did 10 reps. Some days he did 2. Some days he just held the weight and breathed. But he never missed a day. Not one. And within 4 months, he was stronger than he'd ever been in the gym. Not because the workout was better, because he never stopped. He traded intensity for frequency, spectacle for sustainability. And his body rewarded him, not with a six-pack, but with resilience, with energy, with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can rely on yourself. That's the thing about small wins. They're not about the win. They're about the wiring. Every time you follow through on a tiny commitment, you're not just checking a box. You're rewiring your brain. You're teaching your nervous system, hey, we're the kind of people who do what we say we're going to do. That's powerful. That's identity level change. And it compounds faster than you think. One day, you're forcing yourself to meditate for 2 minutes. The next, you're craving it. One day, you're dragging yourself to write 100 words. The next, you're annoyed when something interrupts your flow. The habit stops being something you do and starts being something you are. And that's when the real transformation kicks in. Because now you're not fighting yourself anymore. You're aligned. You're in flow. The resistance fades. Not because the task got easier, but because you got stronger, more trustworthy, more you. But let's be real. Sometimes showing up feels like chewing glass. Some days the world is on fire, your brain is fog, and the last thing you want to do is your tiny habit. And that's okay. That's human. Consistency isn't about robotic perfection. It's about adaptation. It's about showing up in whatever form you can. Can't write 200 words? Write 1 sentence. Can't run 3 miles? Walk to the mailbox and back. Can't meditate for 10 minutes? Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. The goal isn't to hit a quota, it's to honor the commitment, to keep the thread alive. Because the thread is everything. Break it and you have to start over. Keep it, even loosely, and you're still in the game, still building, still becoming. And here's the sneaky benefit no one talks about. Consistency builds self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of everything. Confidence, courage, creativity, risk-taking. All of it flows from one source, knowing you can count on yourself. When you've proven day after day that you'll show up even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching, You stop doubting yourself. You stop waiting for permission. You stop needing external validation. You become your own anchor, your own source. And that's freedom. Real, unshakable freedom. Because now your worth isn't tied to outcomes. It's tied to effort, to showing up, to the daily act of choosing yourself again and again. So what's your one thing? Not your 10 things, not your someday list, your one non-negotiable. The tiny, stupid, almost laughable habit that you will protect with your life. The one that, if you did nothing else all day, you'd still feel proud because you honored it. Find it, name it, write it down, and then do it. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Today, right now. Even if it's half-assed, even if it's messy, even if it's just for 60 seconds. Do it. And then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for the perfect moment. There isn't one. There never will be. The perfect moment is the one you're in right now. The one where you choose to begin again. Not because it's easy, because it's yours, because it matters, because you matter. And that's how small wins become big results. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. A daily, stubborn, glorious whisper that says, I'm still here. I'm still trying. I'm still becoming.